Namaste students, I am JV'n's Dr. Neeraj Dholia, Faculty of Agriculture and Veterinary Science, Jayoti Vidhyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. So today we are here to discuss the topic types of stem cells, and this comes under the subject medical biotechnology. Okay, so you are very well aware about the stem cells. So what are the stem cells and from where they come? So the stem cells are the undifferentiated cells and they have the capacity to renew themselves as well as to make or differentiate into other cell types. So the self renewal and differentiation, self renewal means make copies of themselves and differentiation means to develop into the various types of specialized cells are the key characteristics of the stem cells. So here we are discussing about the types of the stem cells. What types of stem cells are there? Okay, so two types of stem cells you are aware, that embryonic stem cells and the adult stem cells. But we will discuss in detail here. So there are four types of stem cells. One is embryonic stem cells. Second is the tissue specific stem cells. Third is the mesenchymal stem cells, and fourth is the induced pluripotent stem cells. Okay, so let's talk about them one by one. So what are the embryonic stem cells? You know that embryonic stem cells are the stem cells which are isolated from the embryo and specifically from the inner cell mass of the blastocyst. So blastocyst is a stage in the embryonic development, and the inner cell mass of that part is from there you can isolate these stem cells. So the stem cells have embryonic stem cells have pluripotency. So what is the pluripotency? So these are the various means characteristics of a stem cell. So stem cells maybe have uh, very varying types of the capabilities to differentiate. If the stem cell have the capacity to differentiate into all types of cell, it is known as the totipotent. Okay, so based on the capability there are various types of stem cell like the totipotent, pluripotent, multipotent, unipotent. Okay, so pluripotent, the embryonic stem cells have the pluripotency, means they can generate most of the cell types. Okay, so next type is tissue specific stem cells. So as name suggests, these stem cells are isolated from a specific tissue and can make various cell types of that specific tissue. Okay, for example, the hematopoietic stem cells are isolated from the bone marrow, blood, and they can make various types of the blood cells, white blood cells, platelets, and red other immune cells they can make. Okay, so these are known as the tissue specific stem cells. And tissue specific stem cells can be difficult to find in the human body and they don't seem to self renew in a culture. When you artificially grow the tissue specific stem cells, they differentiate into the various cell types of that specific tissue, but they have less capacity to self renew themselves. Okay, so next stem cell is the mesenchymal stem cells. So keep in mind that when you hear the term mesenchymal means it can move. Okay, so there is another term, epithelial and mesenchymal. Opposite, they are opposite. Epithelial is a static nature. They attach and they adhere a specific tissue or part, and the mesenchymal cells have the property and they can invade and migrate to the other tissues. So it is uh, shown by few of the mesenchymal cells which can move from one tissue to another tissue, have the capacity to differentiate into the other cell types. Okay, but keep in mind that all the mesenchymal cells have not the property of the stem cells. Okay, so you have to screen the mesenchymal cells. You have to isolate, and it is shown by various scientists that they have capability to making bone, cartilage, and the fat cells. Okay, uh, so these are the mesenchymal stem cells. Okay, so next one is the induced pluripotent stem cells. Okay, so it is a term, induced. Induced means they naturally, some cells do not have the capacity of pluripotency, means they are not able to differentiate various type of cells, but artificially, in in vitro conditions, in the lab we evoke them to behave like the embryonic stem cells. Okay, so we do some manipulations in that cell that create the property of them to have the pluripotency. Okay, so in the experimental purposes, we have shown and the scientists have observed that when the induced pluripotency is created, it also behave like the embryonic stem cells. Okay, so this is an alternative way to get the stem cells. Okay, so induced pluripotent cells, so that the ultimately it is a source of the stem cells for the tissue engineering and the medical treatment. So if you do not have the stem cells in a patient, and you need them, so you can isolate the normal cells of the patient, and you can artificially induce them to behave like the embryonic stem cell. So this is a different type of the stem cell which is grown artificially. Okay, so this is the types of the stem cells, and in your next lecture we will discuss about the various characteristics and features of the stem cells. Okay, so hope you have satisfied with this digital session, and if you have any query, please write in the comment box and I will resolve your problem. So this is powered by digital version 2 Jyoti Vidhyapeeth Women's University, Jaipur. Thank you.